bad Popo. It's been some time since we've had a really bad Popo on this show, but we've got one. And it's not just a bad Popo. It is also Florida man. So this is kind of like a trifecta here, or a difecta. This is amazing. Let's take a look. Ex-Florida deputy gets 12 years for planting drugs during traffic stops. Okay, 12 years in prison for this. Not a minor case. Prosecutors had to drop nearly 120 cases involving former deputy Zachary Wester. So we're going to go through this. We're going to get a little bit of background from Tampa Bay, which of course is in Florida. We have Florida man here, Zachary Wester. 67 counts we're going to see. We're also going to take a look back from the trial where he was convicted. So today he was sentenced 12 years. Big time, long time, right? Oftentimes cops don't get in trouble at all. So this is kind of a big thing. And it's also something that is a sentencing, but the conviction took place some time ago. And we're going to look at the trial and see what he did, because these are pretty serious allegations here. Not allegations, it's been proven in a court of law now. A former Florida sheriff deputy received a 12-year prison sentence for planting drugs inside drivers' cars during traffic stops. We're going to watch this happen in real time and then arresting them. Okay. We just went through in the last segment. If you missed that, watch the full show. The 1, 2, 3 rule. We're going to show you how badly this also got botched. Former Jackson County deputy Zachary Wester, 28, did not speak at Tuesday's hearing, didn't talk during the sentencing. Convicted in May, 19 of 67 counts, including racketeering, official misconduct, fabricating evidence, perjury, false imprisonment, possession of controlled substances, and drug paraphernalia. A lot of charges for one officer. Internal affairs investigators found the drugs hidden inside Wester's patrol car in the summer of 2018, shortly before he was suspended. Okay, so prosecutors say it was ready to plant evidence that Wester used during his traffic stops. So the guy had a whole goodie bag of fake evidence. Body camera video also shows Wester holding what appears to be baggies filled with drugs surreptitiously before searching cars after stopping them. Prosecutors had to drop charges in nearly 120 cases involving Wester occurring between 2016 and 18 because of accusations that he planted evidence. Prosecutor Tom Williams had asked Circuit Judge James Goodman to sentence Wester to 15 years, saying he committed an egregious breach of the public's trust. So prosecutors want 15. They come back, give him 12, still pretty high towards the upper end of things. Let's go ahead and memorialize this guy for bad Popo history. We got some seriously bad Popo here. His name is former Jackson County Deputy Zachary Wester, sentenced to 12 years in prison for planting drugs and traffic stops. This guy is a very bad Popo, as we can see. So we're going to take a look at only one of his traffic stops. Now, 120 cases apparently were dropped. 19 of 67 counts were proven in a court of law. Now, we're going to take a look at just one person, one situation that was a part of the trial. More background before we take a look at the body camera footage from the traffic stop. We have 2 clips from the body cameras. Let's just do some quick background here. The woman's name, one of Wester's victims, her name is Teresa Odom. Okay, she told the judge that the deputy had ruined her reputation, deprived her of her time with her grandchild. Wester stopped her for a defective brake light, 2018. Okay, defective brake light. Asked for permission to search her truck. She agreed. She broke rule 3.2, which means if an officer asks for access to something, you say no, not without a warrant. Okay. The officer asked a question that was not a part of Rule 2. Rule 2 says an officer can ask who you are and what you are doing right here, right now. The officer asked her a question saying, "Can I look in your car?" That's not one of the 2 questions. You use one of the 3 responses when it's not one of the 2 questions. What is one of the responses? No, not without a warrant. When they want access to something, no, not without a warrant. That's not what she said. She botched that. So she agreed. Yeah, search around. So this lying officer claimed he found a baggie of methamphetamine in her purse, but body camera showed him palming a bag before beginning the search. We're going to look at it. Odom, the woman who vehemently denied the drugs were hers, later pleaded no contest and received 4 years of probation. An innocent woman pled guilty because this lying cop planted evidence in her car. 4 years probation. Crimes. Arrested. The whole thing. All right. That conviction has been thrown out. She said, "You robbed me of my credibility in being a mother and grandmother over the last 2.5 years. I wish you no ill will, but you'll never know what you did to me until you have children of your own." Wester's wife, Rebecca, and others begged Judge Goodman for leniency, saying he's a good church-going man who volunteers in his community. More than 50 people sent letters to the judge in support of Wester. When that career ended, suddenly I watched a part of him and myself as well die, she said. This blow is one that will not be overcome quickly, and honestly, one that we may never recover from. The Zach that is in court before you today is a mighty man of God. He has been greatly missed. The place he has been missed the most is our home. So, a very sad thing, right? Honestly, it's sad. I'm so angry at this cop, and I'm angry at all cops that do this, but it's a sad thing, man. Anytime that anybody gets sentenced to prison, it is like a person dies. So I really feel for the family. I feel for Rebecca. I feel for, it's like a bomb went off for them, right? That this guy was doing this for so long, and they think he's a good church-going man, just a nice, upstanding man. And maybe he is, right? Maybe something. What's going on in there? What's up with that? So I don't know. Maybe I'm being too generous there. But let's take a look at the body camera footage. Here we've got two parts. So what we're going to see, this first one's about 2 minutes long. We're going to go through it. We're going to see the officer from his perspective, from Wester's body camera. He's going to be the full thing is well worth a watch. I have a link in the slides to the full video. Of course, the slides are available over at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. But I want to show you this. This is the body camera. The image is coming from Wester's body camera. And I just have two clips because I can't play the whole thing. But one is going to be him coming out of the car and then walking to do the search in her truck, right? This is his patrol car down here, and this is her truck over here. This is another officer who's not a part of really there other than just backup. This is the woman, Teresa, who is being charged with a crime. So let's see what's going on here.
Deputy Haycare, make sure you don't get run over, okay? Because I have faith that he would prefer to get over. All right, just hang tight, myself.
All right, so let's watch now, right? So she gave him permission to go search, and we're not going to hear much audio, so I can kind of talk over it. But he's doing a search, and let's watch what he does with his hands and his glove. Okay, so he wants to put these gloves on, and watch. Where's his hand? Where's his left hand right now? Where is that? Oh, we don't know. Okay, so he just covered that up. What was that? Huh. Okay, so he's putting the glove on, putting another glove on, and he just covered that little baggie that you saw over there. And then he's going to start looking around and opening some things, and now you can the body camera can now see his hands again, right? Now we can see what he's going through, but we couldn't see his hand previously. Now he's laughing because she's saying something. Now watch, camera gets mashed into the seat here. Camera's mashed in. You can't see either hand. No hands. So why are you wearing your body camera? Okay, moving around. Who knows what's happening? Still digging in the bag. Can't see anything. Now she's yelling.
Do what now?
I said, if you find any money, I come up missing $5 at the hospital.
All right, I'll see if I can find it for you.
Now he's being real friendly, real folksy. Oh, look what that is. Oh, where'd that come from? What's that? Oh, a spoon. Oh. Oh, yeah, and he's just going to keep looking. See that? See that? There it is. Oh, there's the drugs. The spoon and the drugs. And he's going through everything. You can't see where his hands were. All right, can't see where his hands were, right? He mashes the camera right into the side of the vehicle, and suddenly, oh, we have a spoon. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Oh, there's a bag. Oh, what's in there? So he ends up going back and sort of alerting her. He says, oh, I found something. I gotta test this thing real quick. Hang on a second. Goes back to the back of his patrol car, and at that point, you see everything, right? Oh, testing. Oh, pulls this out, cuts this up, puts this in there, puts it in. Oh, does a field test and says, oh, it's methamphetamine. That's weird. So he comes back to her and says, oh, ma'am, sorry. I fortunately going to have to be taking you to jail today because you're going to be charged with possession of methamphetamines. And this is this woman's reaction going, what the heck are you talking about?
Look, I just got pulled over in Cottondale. All right. I went down to see George because I had a bad check that was given to me by somebody who was living at Ain't God's. I come through the lot, I get pulled over. All right, the deputy asked if he could search my truck. I told him, yes, he may search my truck. I'm sitting on the bumper right now. He goes in my passenger side, he sees, I don't know, God knows what. He goes around to the other side, is the truck going on open? And he comes back with a spoon, which is what I use. And in the spoon, there's laying a little bitty, like, I guess a little tiny
holds the bag
It says
up.
it tests positive for methamphetamine. So I guess I'm going to go to jail. Damn sure ain't mine. Nobody's spinning my truck.
I guess I'm going to go to jail, but I'm damn sure it ain't mine. And she's 100% right. Lying, cheating, liar cop. The worst of the worst. All right, let's go see what is happening over from watchingthewatchers.locals.com. Short segment. We just want to make sure that we get some questions in here. Let's see what is coming in hot. We got Kenny 1B says, maybe I missed it, but did you have a chance to cover BLM blaming the U.S. for the problems in Cuba and expressing support for the Cuban government? Also, Facebook and the Biden White House coordinating on the Facebook fact checkers. No, I didn't. So I kind of talked about Cuba. On Monday, I did a full deep dive in Cuba, and I actually went through my trip down there. I think that was Monday. It was this week. My trip down there, and I showed you sort of my experience visiting with the auto mechanic shop and the restaurateur and things like that in Cuba. So I've absolutely expressed my support for Cuba. Would love to see a free Cuba. Would love to see communism rooted out around the world because it is a garbage ideology. And candidly, Joe Biden and Psaki have come out and said that. Now, I don't necessarily believe that. It's kind of one of those things that you just have to say sometimes. But anyways, point being, good for them for coming out and dunking on that. Also, Facebook and White House coordinating with the Facebook fact checkers. I saw that. I was going to almost talk that. There are so many things to talk about, my friends. I know that the Arizona audit is going on as well. I know that we have not talked about that. I am working on another election project, which is why I have not talked about any of the election stuff. I have a big vision for a big election deep dive that would be more analogous to a video essay or a documentary style that is very long. If you recall, I spent a lot of time talking about all of the election litigation preceding the election. I've got documents and lawsuits and all these filings from all of the work that we did, from like July 2020 when the show first started, talking about all the lawsuits taking place, being filed by the DNC in many states around the country. So I've got a vision for that. And so I really kind of want to save some of the election conversations for that project. So I've just sort of decided that I'm probably not going to talk much election stuff. First of all, because YouTube is psycho about it. And if you read their guidelines, they just are very, very draconian with those regulations. It's kind of scary. But my point here is I've got a bigger vision for something I think more impactful. Right? I've got a lot of documents. I've got about 800 slides that I put together in my master slide deck of everything. And so I want to sort of work on that for a little bit more time. It may be something that has to be sort of unveiled in parts, and it's still brand new. I really don't know what a project of this size or scope really entails, but I started working on it. I've brought some help in to help me with some of that. And that's where some of the election stuff is going to go. The Facebook, COVID, White House stuff, I was going to talk about that today, but I found that really bad, Popo. But yeah, I'm going to try to, I'm still experimenting with formats. Don't know if I should do so many, like 3 longer segments or some smaller, shorter segments. And so we're still playing around, but we've got Last Panda says, where did your question or mod go? Remember to welcome the new locals subs. Thank you, Last Panda. The mods, they've found better opportunities here than this channel. So we thank them for their all their efforts here. But people move on. They have other things that they want to go explore. So that's all right. We have Teen Panda says 35. It's almost illegal for me to watch your stream because of your age. Holy S, I'm memeing. I'm going to bed. Sleep tight. Good night, Panda. Thank you. Want to know says best evidence for all cops to wear body cams that are on all the time. This S ruins a lot of lives. The money aspect will be enormous. More than enough money to fund body cams and storage of footage. Everyone acts better when on camera. Portland police on quick reaction force, no cameras that responded to riots that wanted them. All that training is now gone. Officer arrested, more money spent. Yeah. So the thing with body cameras, I think it should be mandatory, and I think that there's plenty of funding for it. We see how much inaction causes the country. I think we can round up a couple $1 million for that. We have this. Those people who think the officer is a good person are winning the gold medal in mental gymnastics and should be screwed over because the police officer is maliciously entrapped innocent people and ruined their lives. Well, I don't think that anybody should be screwed over, but I certainly think that maybe, maybe these conversations are helping people to reevaluate their interactions with law enforcement, right? And like I said, I don't think that all cops are bad. I'm not that ACAB person, right? I've never been a supporter of defund the police. There are a lot of lunatics out there that just think that all cops are bad, right? It's not the case. Just like not all protesters are bad. Just like not all insurrectionists are bad, right? It's sort of is intellectually inaccurate to sort of categorize all people in one bucket. But I still think that it's very important that good citizens understand what their rights are, and that they understand that law enforcement, even though they may be, friendly and oftentimes they can be helpful, that their primary job in many situations, especially involving traffic stops like this, is to charge you with a crime. That's what they're out there doing. So for this woman to just say, "Here, yeah, go take a look in my car," not the right move. And had she been a little bit more, I would say, less naive, maybe that would have worked out better for her. Let's see. We have nobody. So we have no name on this one. Says Roberto, your show is great, man. I mean, it's the greatest, probably one of the greatest of all time. You're doing great things. Just great. I saw Hunter Biden comment earlier and decided he cannot be here alone. I'll help him finger paint. Keep up the good work. You're welcome. So that might be Donald Trump. There was no name on that, but is that Trump Jr. maybe? Probably the greatest of all time. You're doing great things. Just great, amazing, fabulous, beautiful. Everything that you're doing here. I love this spotlight. It's the brightest spotlight of all of them. So much justice here. I mean, the transparency is just amazing. Nobody has better transparency than this show. That's right. Thank you, Donald. I appreciate it. Let's see what else. We've got Thunder7 says, Rob, I'm so glad he got caught, but a question, how many cops do this? It sounds like that mental disorder where the person wants to be a hero. I've heard about a fireman who have this disorder. Do you think the defense should claim a mental defect or mental illness? They could have if that was available, but you can't just sort of make those claims. You actually have to have some evidence because they push you through a formal analysis process, right? They actually, you go and talk to people who will vet you, psychologists, psychiatrists, clinicians who will tell the court their opinion on whether or not you're competent to carry forward. Jeremy Matrita said, did the cop get busted for planting drugs? What could possibly be going through his mind to do that? Yeah, he did, Jeremy. He's going to prison for 12 years. So he did get busted, which is of course good news. What could possibly be going through your mind to do that? I don't know. It could be a lack of self-worth, right? People are feeling like they're not doing a good enough job, and so they're going to go and manufacture results, really. And this woman, she had a record. She actually had been in trouble before, and probably meth or probably something like that, right? Probably another drug crime, if I had to guess. And I don't know for sure. But when I was watching the trial, the prosecutor did call that out, right? The prosecutor brought that out during the direct exam, said, listen, you've been in trouble before, right? You've been charged with crimes for dishonesty crimes, for crimes of moral turpitude are what they're called. She says, yes, I have. Absolutely I have. Because she knew that the prosecutor knew the defense was going to bring that out. So they were drawing the sting there a little bit so that they could get that in front of the jury and not let the defense do it. So what this guy was probably doing is saying, oh, this is a drug addict anyways, right? She's already got a history of drugs. Maybe she's a drug addict at home, but I just can't catch her at her home. So I'm just going to catch her on the road where she's more vulnerable, right? It's disgusting. It's like, it seems to me like, like clinical narcissism almost, like sociopathy to that high degree of narcissism where you really just don't care about what the consequences are for other people. They just don't affect you. It might be something like that, which you can make an argument is a mental disorder, right? Let's see what else. Joe Snow is here, says, Rob, we seem to want to punish the officer who planted drugs, but give a pass to the officer backing him up. Isn't he an accessory to all of those crimes? So it's a good question. I would guess he probably didn't know what was happening, right? He was standing there with that woman. If he knew, then yes, absolutely. But if he didn't know, because he wasn't involved in that search, right? The other guy was. He just went over there, searched, came back with the stuff, and if that's the case, I don't think that the criminal liability should be extending over. We said here, even when a police officer is doing something wrong, your defense attorney mindset kicks in to try and come up with a defense for the behavior. You saw that, right? You saw that? Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like, I'm trying to justify it, man. I'm trying to find the good in this one. Like I'm digging hard. Where is it? There's got to be something in there. some redeeming quality for this guy. Anything? Bueller? Anybody help? No, there's not much there, but I tried. Soul Viking says, I think once again, we are reminded by the body cam footage that they are a great step in the right direction, but not a panacea, literally, in this case, with a sleight of hand. Yeah, you just palmed it, right? If you're a magician, you just kind of do the old one of these deals. Oh, look at that. Well, it's kind of fancy. Hey, oh, whoa. Oh, yeah, right. These officers are pretty miracle. All right, let's see what else. We've got 3 Girlies says, this is a really heinous bad Popo. Yes, he should get way more prison time than 12 years. As a former CO in intake, the first night in prison, they look after the door locks like no other. He should feel that feeling. I'm sorry. Let's do that again. As a former CO in an intake prison, the first night in prison, the look after that door locks is like no other. Yeah, it's really a traumatic thing. Like, people don't understand it. He should feel that feeling for each person he did this to. Absolutely infuriating. There is no worse scum than this in COs that take contraband into prison. That's from 3 Girlies. Love that. Yeah. So, hold the standard, right? If you're going to be in an industry, hold that standard. And anybody who violates that, you gotta come down hard on, especially when they do it intentionally and knowingly. And so, an alternative here would be, well, how about rather than 12 years, what if we just went through all of those 120 cases where there was some allegedly, fraudulent things going on, and we just added up all the potential time that he was going to hand out to other people, right? What if she got convicted at trial? And maybe it's her 3rd or 4th drug offense. Maybe it's a 3-strike rule state. I don't know. Maybe she goes to prison for 10 to 20 years as a result of a 3rd strike for a drug offense, especially a dangerous drug like methamphetamines. Maybe that would happen here in Arizona if we had that happen, right? Which it does happens regularly. So now we have a situation like that where we add maybe her 10 years plus the other cases 10 years plus another case is 10 years, and you add up all 400 years of time that he would have doled out had he not been caught. And we just say, that's your sentence. There you go, right? You were going to hand that out to other people unjustly, so you get that back your direction. How do you feel about that? And other officers, here's a good deterrent for you. Don't ever do this, because the same penalty will apply. And that is a very, very strong disincentive, I would imagine. Jeremy Matridas here says the bad Popo will cause all cops to be required to wear selfie stick cams pointed at them in addition to the cam facing outwards, maybe even wear the 360 cameras. Listen, I support that. I support full body camera officers. So like in Hollywood, right, where they have all the little balls all over them, for the 3D renderings. I say that we should do that for officers. Body cameras every which way, like a chameleon, just watching everything. For all of them. Yep. That's it. Maybe when I write a bill or something, that'll be it. We have Kareem165 says, I agree this show is in fact amazing. Well, thank you, Kareem. I don't understand how you still only have 117,000 subscribers after doing regular live shows for all this time. That is a bit low for a channel of this quality. YouTube must really be throttling really badly. Yeah, so, it's a funny thing that you should ask that, Kareem. So I'll take a moment on this. I posted over on Locals sort of a breakdown of where I was seeing the channel go and a little bit about the slow lack of growth. So we were growing very quickly, and then growth sort of really tapered off. And so I was sort of brainstorming as to why that might be. And I don't really see it as a high priority problem. I would like to obviously grow the channel faster, and I'm very motivated by numbers and metrics and things like that. But I also recognize that there are some things that are just outside of my control. So when I start thinking about these things strategically, I was sort of trying to analyze the multitude of variables that could be causing the slowdown in the growth. And one of the first most obvious things, of course, is that it's not election season. It's not political season. There's nothing really that exciting going on in terms of, criminal law, which of course is the bread and butter of this channel. We just had the Chauvin trial, which we had a ton of growth with. We've got some other cases like big ones like Rittenhouse and Maxwell will be later in the year. And so a lot of people will be interested in those things. But when I talk more of the regular political fare, like the Joe Biden stuff, right? We come out here and kind of beat up on old Joe and Kamala. There's a lot of other people doing that, right? A lot of people. Most of the talk shows are political talk shows, not necessarily criminal justice talk shows. And so we're sort of, emerging out of an area where we had a ton of growth with Rittenhouse and Derek Chauvin and, many of the other sort of summer of unrest, right? A lot of criminal activity going on. And now that is sort of, tapering off a little bit. So our channel, maybe had kind of its own lane a little bit, talking those issues, and now we're sort of rolling back in with more of the mainstream stuff until another wave comes through. And so we'd probably see a lot more growth, let's say in 2022 and 2024, because that's when people get back engaged with politics, right? There's a lot of other things to talk about right now, and the political volume is just a little bit high. So I recognize that there are a lot of different things that could be going on there. I also recognize that this channel has the tone has changed a little bit, a lot of bit, over the last year. Okay, so I started this show in, I think it was September, going live every day. There was a window that I thought there's so much legal stuff to talk about. I'm just going to make a commitment to it and see how it goes. And it worked out fairly well, right? We grew fairly quickly. Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. We started covering all of the election litigation. And it was just, sort of a lot of growth from there. So we're going to be coming up on our 1 year in September, I believe, right around when Ruth passed away. And, since that time, my sort of tone has certainly changed, right? And it's gone, I would say, from being more neutral and objective, where I would sort of steel man two sides of an argument, which is a lot of fun, and I enjoy that, where I would just say, well, I'm just a neutral person, and this thing happened, and so I'm going to make some very good arguments in favor of one side and do the same thing for the other side. And I think a lot of people really appreciated that, right? And I've gotten some feedback from many of you out there who have been around the show for a long time. I'm going to give a shout out to Zulu Zeit over there on YouTube. We've been around for a long time. And I know, Zulu, at least my understanding is, there are certain people who've been with the channel for a long time. I don't want to put words in his or her mouth, but they've been with the channel for a long time, and they've sort of been disappointed with the trajectory of the channel. The channel is, going more towards a conservative ideology or a Republican ideology, or I'm becoming more, provocative or contrarian or, overly anti-government or something like that, right? The tone is changing. And I totally acknowledge that. And I've thought about that, and I've given it a lot of thought, and it sort of makes me a little bit sad to some degree that things are changing. But at the same time, I'm having a constant conversation with myself about, how do I stay authentic? How do I, continue to have fun? How do I provide value to you, the audience? How do we learn things together and build something that lasts a little bit? And so I've sort of just become comfortable with the idea that there are going to be ebbs and flows in my personality. And rather than me trying to sort of, put these things into different buckets or fit a category, right? Like I could go be the guy who beats up Democrats all day, right? I could do that, no problem. Pretty easy. I think you could have a nice business model there, coming out here and just, slamming every Democrat for everything. And that's often what I do here. But I also try to remind myself that it's not just me being against the Democrats, right? I really don't have any love for the Republicans either. I'm sort of more of an anti-government person. And I say that knowing that word is very pejorative, right? And that somebody might take that and say, oh, you're an insurrectionist or something. But I really do mean I'm a minimalist. I like minimal government. And right now, the current government is the Democrats. And so I'm going to be beating up on the Democrats for another 3.5 years. That's just how it's going to be. And when the Republicans, do something stupid, when they get power and I don't like it, I'm going to call them out too, because I really don't appreciate them either. But there are going to be ebbs and flows. The country is changing dramatically. I did not think ever on this channel that I would be talking about a lot of the things that we're talking about, like mandatory vaccines and mandatory lockdowns. And, the world is shifting. I didn't think that our government was going to be sort of leaning on these companies to start censoring people and going door to door and all that stuff. So when society changes, I'm going to change. When I start, being deplatformed from Discord or thrown out of the partnership program, right, on YouTube, I feel like I'm sort of being, excommunicated as well. And that's going to cause me to change. My personality is going to go, what? Whoa, this is not like it used to be. This is very different. And so I'm going to respond in a human way. And I'm going to, my positions are going to modify, and I'm going to have ebbs and flows. And there may be times when I, go hard and aggressive towards Hunter Biden or Joe Biden because it's fun and it's a little bit, slam dunking and spiking the football. And some of that's fun. But I always want to, remember that what we want to do here is provide value and, have some educational conversations about very important topics that I love talking about. And I love hearing your feedback about. So there's going to be changes. I think about it like kind of in waves. It's going to come in a wave. There's going to be a wave that a lot of people like what I say, and then the next wave, they're not going to like it, and they're going to bail out. And rather than me trying to, sort of squeeze myself into this box and be that person who is, always consistent and neutral and steelmans both sides of the arguments, or somebody who always just comes in and, does the talking points like you see on Fox News, where it's just every day, right? All we're talking about is what a stupid thing the Bidens did, right? Oh my gosh, I'll go crazy. I can't do that. But I am also trying to connect with how I'm feeling at a given moment. And I know that might not always be consistent, and I know it might change, and I know people might just bail out of it. I've gotten emails from people, Rob, you break my freaking heart. Why did you change this way? And it makes me sad. It really does. It's like, oh man, I let that person down, It weighs heavy on me. But I also have to kind of keep the big picture in mind, and I have to stay authentic to myself. And so I'm going to continue to do it. If there's ebbs and flows in the subscribers, that's okay. If the format's a little bit off. So I've gotten advice from other YouTubers as well with way bigger channels that say that the format you're doing, Rob, is wrong. That you should stop doing this show. Like literally. The live stream is a bad format. It's not good. You should stop it, and you should focus on the pre-recorded videos. Keep them short, 10 to 12, 15 minutes, and your channel will explode. You've got good production quality. You're fine behind the camera. Tech is good. So, make that change. But I just haven't, I haven't really been there yet. I kind of really like this long form conversation that we have, and maybe I'll make some changes down the road, and maybe I'll start to optimize things for, maximum channel growth. But it doesn't feel like that is my number one priority right now. I really do want to make sure that we're having, meaningful conversations, and we're building something bigger, which is why I'm promoting locals. And I'd eventually like to sort of transition into a space where this can be a bigger part of my life, right? Where I can actually do more thinking and creating and all of that. But I've got a lot of responsibilities with the law firm. I've got a lot of people relying on me, and I never want to give that side up of my life either. And so I'm sort of juggling all these different things around, and sometimes I'll stress myself out about it. But as time grows, as I become more and more confident, as we do more shows, as I get more repetitions in here, as I make more mistakes and learn from them, then things I'm feeling them start to settle down a little bit. I'm getting a little bit more internal peace. Even when I come on the show, I have a little bit less anxiety before I press that go live button, So it's a journey that we're all on. I'm absolutely open to any feedback, any thoughts, anything that anybody says. Rob, yeah, you nailed it. It's this. Do that differently, and things will be better for you. I'm open to all of that, but I don't know what the answer is. Maybe YouTube is throttling us. Maybe they're not. We are fairly young channel. Maybe somebody will have an answer for me. But that's what's happening. It's a great question. Thank you for that, Kareem. And thanks for indulging me with that very long answer. All right, next up, we've got Three Girlies says, when I worked private security and armed security, I invested in my own body camera. Yes, because it protects you. It protects you. Body cam was a lifesaver for me and my fellow security officers. It should be mandatory for all law enforcement officers. And I would go so far, as to say any public safety officer, to include corrections and private security, should have body cameras. Whether they are given by the department or personally purchased, it keeps most officers honest and the public safer. Yeah, and I really do think it protects the officer, right? Because if there's any claim against that officer, you can just go, it's a body camera, right? It makes it easy to sort of parry away those claims. Okay, a couple more before we wrap up. We got Speech Unleashed says, off topic, what are you running for in Arizona? You mentioned something about it at the beginning of the stream. Yeah, so this is, it's anything that the public can vote on, and I don't need any support on it. I am on the board. It's called the Judicial Advisory Appointments Board for the city of Scottsdale. So it's basically, I'm in a role. I still have to get elected. I'm going for my second term, but they want a lawyer. And basically the way that it works is I get to help in the selection process of the judges in the city of Scottsdale. We make recommendations to the city council, and then the city council decides whether to reappoint the judges or not. So I'm a part of a committee that helps to vet the judges. And we've already done 2 judges during my last term. I got to redo it again. You can serve 2 terms. And so the Scottsdale Bar Association here in Arizona has selected me to be the representative of the SBA. So I have to go fill out a form in order to resubmit my my running, and then hopefully the city council votes me on. We'll see. Who knows? I think the last term was pretty successful. In fact, they made me the chairman of the board. So I got an email, which was one of the best emails I've ever received in my whole life, that said, "Good morning, Chairman Grueller." I mean, I almost just quit everything at that point. "Good morning, Chairman Grueller." It was basically, bucket list was completed at that time. And I think at some point that might be my official title for everything. If I'm going to work with you, it's going to be Chairman Attorney Grueller. I just like it. I think it fits. All right, let's see what else we've got. Edon Tess says, "Rob, you and your channel are very valuable. I appreciate the time and effort you put in to break down the news and not just comment and your opinion. Keep it up and stay with your gut." Thank you, Edon Tess. I appreciate that, man. I really do. Let's see. See the Veil says, "What makes your show real is you are looking at reality and what is happening in life. You don't need to shift your show to match any viewer's needs. You being you is why we're here." I think speaking for everyone in the chat from what I'm reading, regarding the election video you are working on, 3 long shows sounds like it will make it very good. Yeah, so thank you for that. And I can't see everything in the comments, but thank you for that. I really, it's very important to me. It means a lot to me, and I really get a lot of value out of it. So, I am trying hard. All right, so See the Veil, thank you for that. Let's see, we've got Miss Lucky says, "Rob, really enjoy your show. You're a part of our day. We have learned a lot. Keep up the great work." Thank you, Miss Lucky. Thank you for that. All right, and then lastly, Jeremy says, "Rob, you're a brilliant guy. You don't need anyone to tell you what to do. Stay true to yourself and your instincts, and the right people will continue to find you. You already know why you do what you do." And I do. I know. I feel pretty solid about it. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep. That's all I know how to do. I got to keep action moving forward. There's a good lesson that I learned. Many people think about the concept of ready, aim, fire. Right? Ready, aim, fire. That's great. Sometimes you just got to ready, fire, aim. You just kind of get ready, just go. And then you can make some adjustments on the aim later. You got more rounds. You got plenty of life left in you. So take a shot. Missed it totally. All right, well, that's okay. We're going to make some readjustments, and then we're going to try it again. And the gun analogy, of course, is very illegal. So maybe think twice about that. All right. So my friends, that is it. Great questions from all of you. And thank you for all of your support. I know the show was maybe a little bit more, personal stuff, but thank you for indulging me on it. I really appreciate it. I have a ton of fun with all of you, and I'm grateful for everything that we do here. And so that, my friends, is it for me. I think nope, it's not. I've got some other things I got to do. I forgot. We've got some new people to welcome to the community. And I didn't know this, but I was actually checking the new sign-up lists wrong. So I apologize if I have not gotten you yet. I think I'm still missing a few people, but let's welcome some new people who signed up. Big welcomes to Robert Las Vegas, signed up for the year. And so we're going to leave these up here for a little bit because some of you signed up, I think like 2 weeks ago. We've got Robert Las Vegas is here. Mercurial Augustus is in the house. We already said hello earlier to Lavoisier, who is a chemist, I believe, who joined up, but I never put him on the board. Apologies. We got Dan Sundin is here. Welcome to you. Drearier Spider is here. Also signed up for the year with Mercurial and Robert. We got Florida girls now here. I told you folks, we have a female Florida person here. Florida girl. We got Slim 5616. Welcome to you, Slim. Salty Scotch is in the house along with Zoji. We got Mark is here along with KCM316. K Cell is here along with the great Bambino. And so we'll continue to welcome you guys. Thank you so much for joining us over at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. A lot of good stuff is happening over there, and it's getting a little bit more active now that we're sort of, going into the chat, and we got the forum going on. I like it. I like where this is going. We've got a lot of other good things happening. First and foremost, the most pertinent one, of course, Saturday, July 24th, 2021, 7 to 8 p.m. is our monthly Locals Zoom meetup where we're all going to be chit-chatting over Zoom and getting to know each other, kind of putting names to faces and hearing where people are from and what they're doing and what their issues are. And it's a good time. We've done 2 of them already, had about 35 to 40 people on each of them. And so, we'll see how this works. Again, it's an experiment, and we'll continue to do it until you tell me you hate it. But it's a lot of fun. I had a great time. And so come check that out, 7 to 8 p.m., July 24th, 2021. And now that, my friends, is it for for me. I want to thank you so much for being here and being a part of the show. We're going to be back here on Monday, same place, same time, to get right back into it. And it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. And we want you to be here. So we'll see you at 4 p.m. Arizona time, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Everybody have a tremendous weekend. And that one Florida man, you do the same as well. Unplug from politics a little bit. Spend some time with some family. Get some sunshine, because we're going to get back into it on Monday. I'll see you then. Have a great weekend, my friends. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching. Before you head out, I want to just remind you that I am a criminal defense lawyer here in Scottsdale, Arizona, where my team and I, we've got a long history of helping good people facing criminal charges to find safety, clarity, and hope in their cases and beyond that in their lives. Our phone number for a free case evaluation is 480-787-0394. You can also find us online at www.rrlawaz.com. We can help with any type of criminal charge in the state of Arizona. Things like DUI, drug offenses, misdemeanor offenses. And we can also help with clearing up old case records, like expunging cases or making sure that you can restore your rights so that you can vote again or possess a firearm again or apply for some other federal benefits. We can remove mugshots off the internet. Basically, anytime that you or somebody you know or love is in trouble with the law in the state of Arizona, we have an amazing team of people. We would just love the opportunity to help. And our phone number, of course, 480-787-0394. And if you don't need any legal services, that's a very good thing. But you may be interested in some informational offerings so that you are prepared if you do have to deal with the police. And of course, I want to invite you to head on over to gumroad.com/Robert Gruler. You'll notice here, I've got several different trainings that are available, including the law enforcement interaction training. This is the 1, 2, 3 rule for dealing with the police. It's one rule you need, 2 questions that the police can ask of you, and 3 responses if they ask you a problematic question. So that's available now. You can also get a load at my personal productivity system here called Existence Systems. Fun little course. And then we have here, if you're a lawyer or a legal professional, be sure to check out this program. We are meeting twice every month. Again, all of this over at gumroad.com/Robert Gruler. And if none of that sounds any good to you, well, just go ahead and give us a follow, because I'm working on some other products and some other offerings. And of course, if you have not already done so, I want to invite you one more time to head on over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com. It's where you can support the show, and it's where we can connect. We've got monthly Zoom meetings and a lot of other goodies coming up. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for watching and for all of your love and support. I will see you on the next one.